acknowledge the Whadjuk Noongar people and their elders both past and present, who are the traditional custodians of the land where we gather on today.
When people think about knights, they often think about audacious warriors of damsels in distress. But many people detect that knights in real life hold no resemblance to what we see in the movies. By the end of our video, we will be able to answer the question, were knights chivalrous protectors of the weak or murderous mercenaries for hire?
First of all, who were medieval knights? Medieval knights were horseback riding warriors who wore bulky chainmail armor, who were then also feared by most people. They were known to be either chivalrous or corrupted savages to the people around them. They existed throughout the whole medieval period and lived in parts of Europe during the era.
Knight was a long and difficult process which usually only sons of the wealthy or nobles could become medieval knights. Training to become medieval knights started at a very early age, around 7 years old, where they would become a page. A page boy would learn how to fight and ride a horse until they were 14, which then they would become squires. Not just fighting was taught, but then they would also have a proper education, such as learning how to read, write, and learn how to speak different languages, such as French. After years of intensive training under the wing of an established knight, it would finally be time for the medieval squire to become a fully fledged knight. This would usually be around 21 years of age. In preparation for the special ceremony, the squires would spend the night before the ceremony praying for guidance in their new role as a knight. The young squire would be dressed in a white robe and bow down and have both of his shoulders tapped by his father, mostly, like how it happens in the movies with the other nobles watching. At the end of the dubbing ceremony, a knight's father would say the following or similar words: "O fair son, be thou a valiant knight and courageous in the face of your enemy, and be true and upright, that God may love thee."
Chivalry. The code of chivalry was a set of rules that knights had to follow during their time of being a knight. The rules they had to follow were to fear God and maintain his church, to serve the liege lord in valor and faith, to protect the weak and defenseless, to give succor to widows and orphans, to refrain from the wanton giving of offense, to live by honor and for glory, to despise pecuniary reward, to fight for the welfare of all, to obey those placed in authority, to guard the honor of fellow knights, to eschew unfairness, meanness, and deceit, to keep faith, at all times to speak the truth, to persevere to the end in any enterprise begun, to respect the honor of women, never to refuse a challenge from an equal, and never to turn the back upon a foe.
Knights protect. The knights fought for their lords, their king, and the civilians in their villages. Though the original purpose was to protect pilgrims from danger, but eventually the knights' duties expanded over the years. They became defenders of the Crusaders' state in the Holy Land. The first knight of the Middle Ages fought for Charlemagne, the king of the Franks, in 700 AD, in order to fight battles across his large empire. Charlemagne began to use soldiers became a very important part of this army.
What was life like for an ordinary knight? The daily life of a knight in the Middle Ages followed almost the same schedule to that of his lord or the noble he served. The daily life of a knight during the Middle Ages centered around fancy stone houses, huge manors, or fighting for his lord and the king they served during the times of war. Much of his time was spent on sharpening, improving his weapon skills, and keeping his levels of fitness high. The daily life of a knight can be described as the following. The daily life of a knight started at dawn, when mass would be heard and prayers would be made. The first meal of the day for knights was breakfast. Knights would start at work with their weapons, practices at the quaintance and the pearl training methods. The daily life of a knight would include discussions on warfighting, success plans, and ways to reaching goals, and increasing his knowledge on attack, warfighting, and weapons. Mid-morning prayers and a meal. As the period went forward, the culture changed, becoming a knight high quality and rich and beautiful. The knights were expected to understand the rules of kindness to women and polite love. Time might be spent on dance practice. In the afternoon, the daily life of a knight turned increasing their skills in horsemanship and go to their lord hunting, selling, or inspecting the estate. Evening prayers, then supper in the hall of the castle or the manor house. After supper might be some entertainment, music, dancing, jugglers, flexible, athletic people, jokers, etc. Then there's bedtime prayers.
Abilities the knights have. Knights had the right to ransack and pillage towns and keep valuables they found. They think of this as the right of protection and end up killing everyone in the village after they've raided it. Knights were also responsible for buying their own horses and basic needs if the king never provided them any, which is why being born in a noble or wealthy family is an advantage to becoming a knight. Knights treat people. Knights gave the most utmost consideration mainly towards women and still were also well-mannered towards other citizens. But they weren't always considerate towards everyone, such as them acting in a way by destroying the crops that peasants had farmed and then killing them afterwards. That isn't so chivalrous now, isn't it? So to conclude this, we know that knights can be very chivalrous towards the weak, knowing that they can also be murderous mercenaries at the same time. From the way that they treat people and the reasons to why they protect, we can now say that they are basically both chivalrous protectors of the weak and murderous mercenaries